just attack the guy with a sword. That doesn't mean I have to hurt you back, but I could. I choose to do only that which is necessary. That theme goes through all of Aikido. We have the training and the practice to be devastating. We choose not to. We're effective as practitioners of the art of peace because we have that choice. I was kind of filling time since I didn't realize y'all were ready. Sensei Tom Huffman, Senpai Stephen Rout.
Japan, when the samurai wore two swords, the wakizashi would go across here, and the katana, the long sword, would go straight ahead. So my teacher, Nishio Sensei, taught it for straight ahead. Can you hear me back there?
Yep.
Woo! Okay, so go sweat. I got voice that will project okay here. A lot of time in the Marine Corps, and also in the Navy too. So, good. So, first one is a Maigi Shohatsu. That one really isn't a technique. It's more like a formal start. Okay, this next one, Uke Nagashi, is a Shomenuchi Iikyo. Is one that they call kaitenaki, which is a rotary. This next one is one called Zengo Giri. And Zengo Giri is a Shomenuchi Shihonage. Come on in. There's lots of seats. Sayuki. Tsuka Osai. Then the Bushido of that is the Tekubi Osai. So this is the other side. So, Tekubi Osai. brush ski. And one called Tsuke Komi. Looks like the Uke Nagashi, but it's a little bit more. And then this has a spinning shiburi. It's supposed to fling the blood off. It is more like most of these, if you were really cutting somebody, then if you didn't want to have blood guts and stuff down inside the site, you'd have to wipe it off. So, sume. Sanbo. So, this one's 4 directions. The last one was, Sanbo was 3 directions. Shihonage. This one would be a white. Next one, Nikyo Osai. So this is somebody coming in at you, and they're drawing and cutting at you, so you have to get out of the way. start in the center, slide around to the left. And so that's how they normally stick it in when they've got, this is called a hop. So, the fighting, well, it's more of a way of wearing big pants that still look like a kimono. And one guy called them the riding culottes of the samurai. Because if they wore a regular kimono and they got on a horse, they got to hike that. So they got stuff hanging in the breeze. So they developed something. It looks like. So, right? So we're going to do 5 techniques. So Uke Nagashi, then Zengo Giri, then Tsuka Osai, then Tekubi Osai, and then Sanbo. So these correspond to Iikyo, Shihonage, Iikyo, Shihonage, Nikyo, and then another Nikyo, and then a Sankyo. And I'll point out there's a change in the Sankyo in order to make it work, where the Sanbo, we start out and we draw going to the right. In order to do it with the empty hand, I'll have to go to the left. So, Stephen is going to continue to show the Iaido application as we do the weapons and the empty hand application.
So, look carefully. What he's doing in the Iaido is equivalent to what we're doing. There's a subtle difference because it's now two people, but it's the same idea.
Now I want to tell you the situation here. So he's drawn. There's a conversation going on here. What kind of conversation would that be? Probably an argument, right? So we're arguing away, and then it looks like it's not going to be so good, so I'm getting ready. So, and then he may not figure out that it's done. So I finish a little bit more. So now it's another situation. So that's the Zengo Giri, that's the Shihonage. So this is more a situation where he's a little bit crazy and he thinks he's going to grab the sword. So here. So my teacher, Nishio Sensei, talked a lot about the sword that gives life. And the Iaido, you can see, it's more of the sword that takes life. And he said that in order to really understand the difference between the sword that takes life and the sword that gives life, is you need to know how to do that other side. So he taught the Aiki Toho Iaido. And then this is the other application of the sword that gives life.
So another crazy guy going to try to take the sword.
So now, let's do it this way. Okay. So now he's taking it on the other side. So here, Nishio Sensei changed the katas. When I left Japan in 1997, our kata ended like here. But around 2000, 2001, started ending it at here. So I just showed the application of what would happen if that came down to there. It would be more cutting the backbone. This is the Sanbo. Look like what he did. It's interesting. Some of this stuff, it's taken me 20 years to figure it out. So if you don't understand it today, that's fine. That's fine. So now, I change, and we're going to do all we can with what we call the joke. And it translates to stick. Then the Zengo Giri. Then the Tsuka Osai is the Iikyo application. And that's, he's trying to take the stick down. Oh, right.
Having not learned my lesson with my left hand, I can try it on. And you still don't learn the lesson?
So now we're going to move over again. So he's doing a beer bottle strike. Same technique, eh? Zengo Giri. Then Tsuka Osai. All my friends go scream about that. That wasn't the right pin. Well, I took some liberty. Did a different pin. And then so they're finished before he gets done. So the last one, this is that one that I told you that we stepped out, we drew going this way. This one, in order to get his hand right, I've got to go to the left. And that was another one of these 20-year figure it out. Until we started really playing with this, I didn't realize I had to go to the left to get it. About attire. So that completes what we have to show.
They have some question and answer.
Yeah.
Time, someone? 4:50. Let's do some Q&A with respect to questions. But if you have to go, I want to applaud first. Nothing's happier than having a group to show stuff to. So, any questions? Yes? Sorry. Bad microphone discipline.
I noticed that when you were demonstrating as, again, someone who didn't have the same technique. What if you were going against someone who had and used the same technique as you?
It only changes a little. So that's when the skill match happens, right? So in the more advanced stuff, are there reversals to techniques? Sure. Don't see them much with the weapons. But there are reversals, and you have to learn to deal with them. So, next. Yes?
Can you show us a partner form?
Partner for,
For a Joe or Moken?
that's what we just did.
Like a little longer form one where we can see some more given play? You have more than one Joe? I guess not.
No, we have to go out.
Yeah, that filled the bag up.
So yeah, probably.
It went top heavy too, so I'm going through, and it's tilted down like this where it should be hanging straight up. And so it's like I'm clearing the passageway. as I go
So the
down.
partner practice with Joe in particular, which we don't have two of, so we don't have long partner practices with Boken and Joe, but with the Joe, the two partner practices are what's called 13 Joe partner practice and 31 Joe, and Sensei's actually developed some amazing variations for those. The classic forms, you always start with them. So I wish we could show them. They are on the website. So, and you're always welcome to come and ask us at another time. And we'll just remember next time that if we get finished a little sooner, people may want to see 13 or 31 Joe partner practice.
Well, there's actually two sets of weapons that I'm teaching. So I'm teaching two styles of Aikido. I'm teaching the Iwama style, which I started in, and the Nishio style, which is, when I was in Japan, I got a lot more time with Nishio Sensei, so I was promoted up through the Nishio style. And so, and they complement each other. There's an interview where Nishio Sensei stated that if he ran into problems, he would go and see Saito Sensei, who was teaching the Iwama style, because he was O-Sensei's student, closest student. And so it was like talking to O-Sensei for him. And so his theory, Saito Sensei's theory on the Aikido was to teach it exactly the way that the founder had taught it. And Nishio Sensei's thought was that the Aikido should always be developing. And so I've got a lot of film of him on videotape, because he didn't worry about if somebody taped, because he's doing this way today, he may be doing it different tomorrow. And I did see some of those changes as I was there.
There's a story out there, and I'm sure it's very, very close, that O-Sensei never repeated the same technique twice over however many dozens of years. Now, whether that's perfectly true or true in spirit, he certainly felt as though the Aikido, while it has basics and principles, it evolves. Any other thoughts, questions? Yes?
What made y'all get into this?
What made you get into this, Sensei?
Oh, I was in the Marine Corps, and there was a lot of these people that I call them the either ors, which means they went before a judge, and the judge says, either you go in the military or you go into jail. And so we had a lot of would-be convicts in the Marine Corps when I went in. And so I needed to learn to defend myself. So I got into karate. And so I'm a second degree in that. And actually I went to Okinawa and met the old master. And he comes up to me one day and he says, "Yo, Nina, Sanda, what's your what?" I'm thinking, that's the way he talked.
English.
It was Okinawa. And so I had just met him only a week before, so I didn't want to feel like pushy or anything, and I'm thinking I'm at Atsugi Naval Air Facility. I could catch a flight down any weekend, just take some leave and come down and see him. So that was my thought, and I said, so I take the Nidan. I got busy with Nishio style, and so focused on learning really high quality Aikido and bringing it back to Florida that I never got back to Okinawa. So I'm still a Nidan.
I'd like to share a little a complimentary story from Sensei, which is that he started learning the karate in Marine basic training.
Oh, and yes, and then I heard about Aikido as the peaceful art. But at that time, this was in the 70s, there wasn't very much Aikido on the East Coast, on this side of the United States. There was a lot more in California, where they had more of the masters that came there and showed off, and then they developed in California. But there wasn't much east of the Mississippi River. And so I learned the karate. But when I got into the Navy, I was sent to California. So I called up the dojo and went up to, it was called Sunset Cliffs Aikido. And it looked really interesting, so I came back the next night, and the guy pinned me with a pin that felt like those two pins that I took him down and pinned him with the Joe, that Nikyo. And it felt like he could rip my arm off and beat me over the head with it. But he was smiling. And he said, and so I knew he didn't mean me any harm, but what that said to me was that you didn't have to have the anger and drive of the karate. All you had to do was do the technique. And so he was protecting me, but he could still rip my arm off.
So
Totally different philosophy.
So Saito Sensei, that Sensei Tom has mentioned earlier, someone asked him, how can you tell a good dojo? He says, I love what's at the top of his list, by the way. Sensei's techniques work. There's a lot of styles from all over the world, a lot of places out there. They can't meet that very first requirement. Their Sensei's techniques don't really work. So Sensei's techniques work. The senpai are helping the kohai. Seniors are helping the juniors. Everybody's having fun. So when we're doing Aikido, you may have heard me, do a little bit of a breath as I took a roll to protect my body, right? So you're not really hearing us do a lot of kiais and screaming and so forth. We don't need to. Sometimes we do. But when you walk in, we're smiling. We're having fun. It's important. Did somebody have a question that we missed? Are we good? Yes? Yes, Aikido of Gainesville.com. So if your phone thinks that you're in Gainesville and you just type the word Aikido, we'll probably populate the first 4 pages of returns, because Sensei had a website. For a small business to have a website in 2002 was pretty unusual. So a website that's been continuously under one owner for 15 years, it's very unusual. So he's very deep in the search results for Aikido. So yes, please, we have free classes every week on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. And for kids, starting at age 6 up through teens, the free classes are on Saturdays, starting at 9 a.m. All this information is on our website. We do self-defense classes, and this is the other thing. There are some people who will say, oh, you can't use Aikido for self-defense because that's not the spirit of it. They are welcome to that belief. We do things differently. That doesn't make them less, just different. Our stuff works. We teach Aikido to law enforcement officers. We did a free seminar for a law enforcement agency here with over 100 sworn officers for 6 weeks. Sensei and I showed up every Tuesday for almost 4 hours and taught those law enforcement officers how they can protect themselves from weapons and ambush attacks, because they don't get that training anymore. They don't have the money for it, and there are a lot of people who can do it. We do women's self-defense classes, which we have one coming up on the 20th.
Next Saturday.
Yeah, a week from today. So the biggest gift that we can give, that Sensei was given a wonderful gift for 6 years in Japan of learning from real masters. 9th degree, 10th degree, 10th degree, 8th degree. You know, I'm just going down the list of those I can remember off the top of my head. There is a real difference.
Well, the 2 10th degrees were, the 10th degree was in the karate, and the other 10th degree was in the bato, actually cutting with the sword. And so, when I was there for Aikido, Saito Sensei was number 2 in the world, and Nishio Sensei was number 3. So I went to the top.
So, and it really, you can really feel a difference. You know, I get the opportunity to go to other communities and train with other really great Aikido teachers. The best Aikido teachers that I found have a background in doing other martial arts as well. You can really feel it from Jan and Orlando, for example. Excuse me, synchronized coughing. But you can tell a difference in those who have trained in Japan and those who haven't. It's just, there's a,
It's a different
it's
level
just
over there.
different, it's just different. And so, what we teach is strong and it works, but it's not mean. You leave smiling. We teach our kids bully defense classes, several very small incidents that happen in the public schools from our kids over the years, where they've gone in and done something. My son was one of them. He put a Sankyo, you know that one where Sensei launched me off the ground, on somebody because they were grabbing him in a way they shouldn't have, and he launched it. And the kid screams, "I'm going to tell him." I'm not going to say the name of the dean because you might know what school it was. He says, "Go ahead." So the kid goes and tells him, and he calls me, Russ calls me, and he says, "You're not going to believe what Alex did, man. That's so funny." Because he didn't retaliate, okay? The conversation failed. This conversation, right, the mouth conversation, failed. And so this kid grabbed him, and it was a Sankyo, so you have to get the palm up. So this kid, okay, you know, I think I understand the message now, right? All of a sudden, we're talking a common language. The common language was this, and then this. Oh, I understand now. So we're having a conversation. We're just having a conversation with our bodies. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Thank you all so much for showing up. And, you know, through me running my mouth and Sensei Tom up here showing stuff, Stephen Rao, he has been a really dedicated, yes, very dedicated and quick learning student of the sword. So really pleased he helped facilitate us getting here. And I'm eager to see the video because I think it's going to look pretty cool. Check us out on the internet, on the web, aikidoofgainesville.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.